Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about IRS tax changes for gig workers in 2025. Some of the tax changes for the IRS have been released, and some of them have affected gig workers, and they usually release this based on inflation, and it's good for us in a sense that we could write off more of our expenses, and I wanted to go over what those updates are. So in this video, we are talking about the IRS updates that affected gig workers, how it will impact us, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain, is never intended to be, legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that we went over these updates in a live show that Bud Soda and I have every Tuesday. Some of them have been really engaging with our viewers, so make sure you join us on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. to be part of the conversation. Standard deductions. So for single taxpayers and married individuals filing separately for tax year 2025, the standard deduction rises to $15,000 for 2025, which is a $400 increase from 2024. For married couples filing jointly, the standard deduction is $30,000, which is an increase of $800 from 2024. And heads of household will have the standard deduction of $22,500 for tax year 2025, which is an increase of $600 from tax year 2024. Make sure you apply that according to your current status. Standard mileage rate. Okay, let's run through this really quick. For self-employed and business owners, you could write off 70 cents per business mile driven. Charities, 14 cents a mile. Medical, 21 cents a mile. And for moving and military only, 21 cents a mile. For gig workers, this is a increase of 3 cents a mile, which is from 67 cents, which can really add up over time, and that's huge for us using the standard mileage rate for write-offs. Marginal rate. For tax year 2025, the top tax rate or tax bracket still remains at 37% for individual single taxpayers with incomes greater than $626,350. And for married couples, it would be $751,600 for married couples filing jointly. The other rates are as follows: 35% for incomes over $250,525 or $501,050 for married couples filing jointly. 32% for incomes over $197,300 or $394,600 for married couples filing jointly. 24% for incomes over $103,350 or $206,700 for married couples filing jointly. 22% for incomes over $48,475 or $96,950 for married couples filing jointly. 12% for incomes over $11,925 or $23,850 for married couples filing jointly. 10% for incomes $11,925 or less or $23,850 or less for married couples filing jointly. This is actually something we went over in the previous live stream. We talked about taxes, and as well as going to be available on my website, drivenwyld.com. Feel free to check that out there. Alternative minimum tax exemption amounts. For tax year 2025, the exemption amount for unmarried individuals increases to $88,100 or $68,650 for married individuals filing separately and begins to phase out at $626,350. For married couples filing jointly, the exemption amount increases to $137,000 and begins to phase out at $1,252,700. Earned income tax credits. For qualifying taxpayers who have 3 or more qualifying children, the tax year 2025 maximum earned income tax credit amount is $8,046, which is an increase for $7,830 for tax year 2024. The revenue procedure contains a table providing maximum EITC amount for other categories, income thresholds, and phase outs. Also, I know I just dropped a bunch of crazy jargon for a bunch bunch of these subjects, so if you need more clarification on how some of these features work, feel free to check out the Financial Fridays playlist to learn more about the tax code curated for gig workers in the gig economy. Unchanged for tax year 2025. Now, not all aspects of the tax code that affect gig workers have been updated or changed, so the following subjects have not been affected. Personal exemptions. For tax year 2025, personal exemptions remain at 0, as in tax year 2024. The elimination of the personal exemption was a provision in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Itemized deductions. There is no limitation on itemized deductions for tax year 2025, as in tax year 2024, and proceeding to tax year 2018. The limitation on itemized deductions was eliminated by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. A quick note about these updates. These are all changes that have affected gig workers specifically, not you specifically. I'm going to leave a full list of updates in the description that have been made in response to inflation for 2025, so feel free to check that out. But before applying any of that information, it would be wise to consult a qualified tax professional and see how it affects you. Just make sure you're consulting with a tax professional that is not going to overcharge you for the 1099s you are inevitably accumulating, which is where GigTax is going to be here to help. As a gig worker, your time is too valuable to be wasted on tax prep. So while you keep hustling, GigTax can help you save big. Whether you're a rideshare driver, food delivery driver, or do any sort of self-employed work, stop wasting your time on taxes that slow you down. GigTax was built by somebody who gets it. Joseph Mayo, a gig worker with over 7,000 deliveries across 7 platforms, and GigTax knows exactly what you need. Get your taxes done fast, done right, and starting at just $99. Enjoy exclusive perks like electronic and state filing, secure portal access, year-round support from a dedicated tax pro, audit protection, all included. File in less than 24 hours or your money back, no questions asked, because your time is money and we're here to save you on both so you can get back to what you do best. Earning more. I had a lot of backed up taxes and complications. Joseph worked tirelessly to file previous year's taxes and maximize my return beyond what I could have done on my own. Book your strategy session now at gigtaxservice.com/drivenwyld and use the code WYLD to access your special offering and simplify your taxes and save big with GigTax today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh.